number 2 is the I Love Lucy episode where they are trying to explain to their son how Santa Claus comes into, like, their house.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I love this episode is because Ricky is originally explaining the why to their son.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, hey, I explained the why, you explain the how. And Lucy, the whole entire time that Ricky is explaining the why, he turns to Lucy and just goes, I explained the why, you explain the how. But like, Lucy is just like giving him shit the whole entire time. And I love it because she is just so sarcastic. And their son is just being so innocent and being like, well, how does he get into the house without a chimney? And that is such a stereotypical kid thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just so great because you can just picture, as a parent, trying to explain this to an innocent kid.
Mm-hmm.
It is great.
See, I'm sure I've seen it 17 times, and I probably not since I was a kid, so I don't have it fresh in my memory. I kind of have it somewhere in the back. But were they still in the apartment, or were they in the house?
They were in an apartment.
Okay. Yeah, and the dynamic between Ricky and Lucy when they became parents wasn't always... they didn't play it up as much as they could have. Ricky always came off as he was just the... Lucy did all the work, and Ricky would swoop it every now and then, like, jostle the kid's hair, and that was it. So...
He wasn't the greatest dad. Like, Lucy was essentially both parents.
Mm.
And so when she would, like, make him be the dad, it was great. Because I found it hilarious. Because it was like, yeah, fucking do it. Like, just get him. And it was even better when their son would, you know, essentially ask him questions, and he would just be like, I don't know what I'm doing. And you have the background of Lucy just being like... So that's why I love that episode. And then you have, you know, Ethel come in with the tree, and she's struggling to carry it. It's great. It's just all around a very funny episode because it's falling apart as you're watching it.
As most I Love Lucy episodes, the better ones do.
Yep.
My number 2 would be the very first ever episode of The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
Where Homer has to take a job as a mall Santa in order to pay for Christmas gifts for the kids. And we touched upon this in the last episode. It was the first time I ever heard a cartoon character swear, which was thrilling to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked the older episodes of The Simpsons. It eventually devolved into, I think, funnily enough, as much as people say that Family Matters ripped off The Simpsons, I think that eventually The Simpsons started ripping off Family Guy. Mm-hmm. And trying to be that. And those early, I'd just say the first, especially 10 seasons of The Simpsons, are just such a pure thing. Mm-hmm. That showed why they were because everybody was ripping them off. Everybody was doing an animated adult comedy, mm-hmm. and nobody could get it right. Mm-hmm. And the Christmas episode is it's just great writing. It's manages to actually become sort of a bit of a timeless Christmas story, while at the same time being funny and sarcastic and mm-hmm. you know, all of the things you would expect from an episode of The Simpsons.
Right. Well, that, you know, that makes sense, and it's funny that that's the first episode that they ever did, and that gripped so many people. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that the fact that they swore in the episode, and that's the first thing that people were like, they swore.
It was amazing.
But, nowadays, they're trying to stop, Homer from choking, Bart now. I read that
Yeah.
recently, and I think that's a little stupid because it's like, stop trying to censor these shows. Like, I get that. I get where people are concerned, but these shows are the way they are for a reason. I'm not saying that they're necessarily. I would let my kids watch this show. We touched base on this in the last podcast. However, these shows have been like this for so long.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a show that is, more, concerned about how it's presented, maybe look for a show that's like Blippi or, for younger kids.
Well, and this is the reason why a show shouldn't go on for 35 years.
Or
because
that.
the way that it was, no matter how, because 35 years ago, you would have said that The Simpsons was as progressive as you could get.
Mm-hmm.
And now everybody is like, God, those early episodes are just so cringy and painful to watch and everything. And it's like, this is why. Like, maybe just
Let it be in its era.
Mm-hmm. Or the thing that I have always thought would have been amazing if they did it, let them age. Because Bart was 10, I was 10 when that show started.
That's the thing too, is that it's a product of its era. And people just don't get that at all.
Well, the characters can't grow and change if they're not allowed to grow and change.
Yeah,
And so Homer choking Bart, Apu, like all of the things that people look back on now and they're like, oh, that's awful. It's what was it in the show's DNA. And as you take those elements out, it stops being The Simpsons. So, but the Christmas episode is one that I still will watch.
Right. I just think people need to get over it.
No, I'd agree.
Just a personal opinion.
And also maybe just stop making The Simpsons.
Yeah, just stop. Please. Yeah, so my number one, once again, it's in your list. It's an Andy Griffith show with Ben. It's a good episode and it's very humble. And, so all of the Christmas episodes that they did were good from season 1 to 5. Just plain simple.
I watched season 6 through, 8 or 9, whatever the last one was, because I bought the box set and I watched all the episodes all the way through. I couldn't tell you one fucking thing that happens after Barney leaves.
Yeah. But, that's the thing, is that first Christmas episode was so good that, I would be fine not watching, any of the other Christmas episodes. Because it's pure, and they made Ben's character, relatable to the Scrooge character and to the characters that are crappy and want to be just included, just want to be loved. And, I still think it's hilarious that he tried to steal a bench. Because that's something I would do. Like, I just want to be loved, but I'm going to steal a bench so then you notice me. Like, it's petty stuff like that.
So you're saying you've got a little Ben in your heart.
A little bit. But, I feel most women do when we want to be, paid attention to. Sorry, you do.
And my number one, speaking of dark and twisted.
Oh, no.
Is Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown.
You really had me scared.
I mean, Charlie Brown looks like he does want to die through most of the show.
Yeah, he does.
And most of the characters look like they want him to die through most of the show.
I mean, except Snoopy.
Yeah, Snoopy puts up with him.
I mean, he has to.
Mm.
He gets fed.
Yeah. But I've been watching this since I was a kid. It came on sometime in the 60s when my dad would have been around like 10, 11, 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an example, you know, I mean, the whole episode is great, but there's one moment in particular that I think is an example of how if you want to bring the religious element into Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
how to do it, which is nobody knows what the meaning of Christmas is.
Mm-hmm.
And so Linus just stops the show dead to tell the Christmas story.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not a religious person. I haven't been since I was a kid, but I still do like the stories.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that they actually bring that element into it and tell you, and to do the thing that, like, look, I'm sorry if this is going to upset some people. Christmas is a religious holiday. You can enjoy it in a secular way, but it is a religious holiday.
Mm-hmm.
It literally is in the name. And
Technically, Christmas started out as a pagan holiday. Sorry, Christians, we stole it.
but the fact that the show actually goes and acknowledges that is, I think, really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
The way that it's done. It's not done in a way that rubs your face in it or
Right.
anything. It's done in a way where Linus is more talking about the message of the Christmas story than he is about the religious aspects of it.
And I think Linus has always been very good at that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he is a very well-rounded character
Mm-hmm.
compared to most of the characters.
Mm-hmm. Lucy is awful as always, and but yeah, that's one that I will watch every year.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good one. You know, I like that one compared to the first ones on your list. No offense.
You know, Charlie Brown grew up and killed all of them, right? They drove him to it.
Where's the evidence of this? And on that note, I think we're going to wrap up with that, guys. Thanks for watching our podcast, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah.
Mm-hmm. No bah humbug?
Bah humbug. And please don't kill anyone. Don't be a sociopath. Please don't murder anyone like he will probably do. Please.
Bye.